Hello and welcome to Charity's Treasures. Today's category is World News Thursday. Erika Kirk and Delilah. Yesterday, I briefly mentioned that Charlie Kirk likely informed his wife, Erika Kirk, about his dreams of dying and maybe other foreboding premonitions. Most likely, she knew some of his deep, intimate secrets. Exclusive secrets that he might have only mentioned to her. What did Erika Kirk do with Charlie's secrets? I think the best way to answer this probing question is to relate Erika to Delilah. Samson and Delilah. And it came to pass afterward that Samson loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. She was a Philistine, and the lords of the Philistines came unto her and said unto her, Delilah, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him, to afflict him, and we will give thee, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mayest be bound to afflict thee. The first time Samson told Delilah where his strength lies, and she found out it was not true. She angrily cried to Samson, Behold, thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. He told her a fantasy story the second time, and vexed she said to him again, Hitherto thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. Delilah was irate with Samson, pleading to him in aggravation. How canst thou say, I love thee, Delilah, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and thou hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all that was in his heart, and said unto her, There hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak, and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, wow, she was thinking. She sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he hath shewed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand to give her, promising her recognition, fame, and fortune. And she made Samson sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. I think this is a perfect example of how the devil works, right? Samson loved Delilah, but Delilah, who was obviously engaged in taking Samson's power away in order to obtain in her twisted, programmed mind the fame the world offers, and exasperated as she tells Samson that he's the one that doesn't love her. She kept telling him, You don't love me. It seems gaslighting even went on in the Old Testament. Actually, it was Delilah who didn't love Samson. The cunning devil is always trying to find and expose our weaknesses to others so that we can continue to be increasingly weak, even weakened beyond our weaknesses, And he deceptively continues to say in this process, I love you. Keep following me. Keep listening to my lies. When in fact, he does not love us. Samson, on the other hand, obviously loved Delilah. But in the dreadful end, he's so exhausted, more than he ever has been. And maybe because the fact that she didn't love him when he loved her, because she was continually trying to take away his strength for recognition and money, that he wearily gives up and gives in essence saying, if this is what you want, Delilah, you can have it. Take away my weakness. I'm going to give you your recognition. I'm going to let you have your fame. I'm going to let you tell the people who want to hurt me all my secret. I'm going to give it all to you, Delilah. That's how much I love you. But does she really get it? Does she get all of these things? I really don't think so. I'm pretty sure if Delilah lived today, she would have been a reality TV star. She might have even joined a beauty pageant and tried to get on The Amazing Race, promoting the false idea that sex sells. I'm pretty sure that Delilah sold herself to the devil. Why am I calling out Erika Kirk? Erika Kirk has proved repeatedly in the last few months to be a pathological liar and deceiver. She has also proven to be an intentional deliverer in the hands of the adversary. This scenario reminds me of someone else I have come to know through the years and through experience. Therefore, who is recognizable when corruption, evil, and deception present themselves as a righteous guide. An animal who was determinedly placed in the garden and who foolishly attempted to overthrow the great God of heaven and earth. The same beautiful garden which held the enticing tree of knowledge of good and evil, and the everlasting tree of life. The ambiguous snake-like chameleon who took on its surroundings which didn't rightfully belong to him, his fading white fangs excitedly ready to dip into the rich blood of his opposition. The eyes of determined calculation and evil intent, the body slithering and slimy, attempting to fool the target of his fraud and trickery, and by doing so, making his way to the tender heart and unawares mind of the children of the world. This is Erika Kirk. She is the snake. She is Delilah. Delilah was an informant. She indirectly was the cause of Samson's death. She was an operative, deceitfully calculating behind the familiar worldly scenes, giving the immoral leaders information on how to finally exterminate Samson by scheming his demise. She was playing a crafty role in this degenerate play. She didn't love Samson. She was purposely placed in his life for his interment downfall. Cycles of reoccurring historical events. Charlie's story, his life, teaches us valuable lessons. History wistfully repeats itself, and we are apparent fools for regularly falling for the reoccurring tactics that are deceptively portrayed and implemented by our supposed good leaders. Erika, we don't feel anything when you preach about building the Tower of Babel, because it doesn't feel to us like it's anything like Charlie was building. You don't have that same lively heavenly spirit. You don't have that same aura and seemingly righteous dedication to a cause that he was working towards. You are changing all he worked for. You are rapidly tearing down his earned legacy, not building it up. Delilah, joyfully it seemed, gave Samson away to wicked men, which led to his demise and death. But it also led to the death of all of those who tried to make him weak, because in the end, his destruction was also their destruction, as they died when he collapsed the walls of the Philistine temple, right after God again gave him his strength back. Erika compared herself to Nehemiah, who was rebuilding the destroyed walls and gates of Jerusalem. She is comparing herself to rebuilding something that was broken. But what Charlie built was not broken. She didn't need to rebuild a 2.0 version of what Charlie foundationally constructed. What is Erika building? I think she's in the wrong Bible story, combining it to make her own story, because she's definitely not following the story that Charlie Kirk was nobly creating. She's not creating extensions of what he established. What the mob who took Charlie out doesn't realize is in the final act of their will-be failed play, they're going to be in the building of Babylon that collapses because of Charlie's death. Candace will really be Nehemiah and be Samson's strength brought back again. She will be a participant in rebuilding the city of Jerusalem to aid and be an instrument for God in the gathering of Israel, which ultimately belongs to God and all the tribes of Israel, which includes America. Israel is not a Jewish nation. It is a humanities nation, which rightfully belongs to the very Christ of whom is rejected by the Jews. Charlie told Candace that he was Moses and that she was his David. What Charlie didn't realize, or maybe he did in the end, is that he was also Samson and Erika was his Delilah. Bye, everybody.